Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
The fact that
cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, everybody. You got Eva and Ken here on the Freedom from Struggle show at Red's Roundtable. And, man, it's the Christmas season. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas right now, just in case I forget to wish you a Merry Christmas later on during the show. But I don't think I will. I think I'm going to remember that because I just hear those sleigh bells ringing. But, look, hey, Eva, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
We're so glad you're here with us again today, and we're your hosts, folks. And like I said, we're Freedom from Struggle show at Red's Roundtable. We both have different ways and different things to bring into the table. And Eva actually has her own books and podcast. And if you want to share a little bit about that with us right now, Eva, or feel free to just say whatever you want. Let us introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey, everybody. So I'm Eva Fulton. I am an Army veteran from Desert Storm. I have a book called Welcome to My People Garden. So Red, always, I'm so glad you're in my people garden. I also have an international award-winning documentary. I have a podcast that is out there on all your favorite streaming channels called the Mighty People Garden Podcast. And I'm excited to announce that I have a new show coming up here on MBR Radio. And it is, I think it's going to be exciting. I've got some guests that I'm lining up already that I think these are people that are going to have some great stories to tell. So I really kind of kept the same name as my film, and it's called From Pain to Purpose. So I think we'll have some very inspirational stories to tell that will help people navigate why we go through some of the stuff we do, and how do we turn and flip that around into something positive and maybe help somebody else along the way.
Right on. That's what it's all about. And what was the name of it again?
From Pain to Purpose. From
Pain to Purpose. And your folks are going to be able to see it right here on Military Broadcast Radio, where we're giving veterans a voice and you in our audience a chance to hear, right? And these things can be once again viewed on so many of your different social media channels where you like to view your podcast, Roku, Military Broadcast Radio, and we can always pick them up also the replays of them, the future. I mean, it stays on there forever, so you can always go back to one you'd like to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, look, everybody, we want to welcome you here again, and it's a blessing for me to have Eva on the show with me. And she's my host, she's my co-host, and I do hope you consider to still show up here on the show
sure.
as often as you would like. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
Tag team for sure.
Very good. Very good. Well, look, everybody, my name is Kent. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I lead a Celebrate Recovery group right here in my hometown of Biloxi, Mississippi, and at First Baptist Church, Biloxi. We do it on Thursday nights. We call it Thursday Night Church. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to, as a leader, be able to come also onto this podcast with Military Broadcast Radio, and just hopefully coming into your radio, your TV, laptops, wherever you watch and listen to your favorite podcast. It's, like I said, a blessing to be here. I am a leader there, and that's why I get to share some of this stuff. And it lays heavy on my heart also, Eva, because being a grateful believer in Jesus Christ, which I have been for a long time, I just celebrated 30 years of sobriety. Thank you very much. And I give all the credit to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
No doubt about it. If I didn't know that, I don't think I could have even survived it. And I couldn't be celebrating my recovery from that issue right now. But what the show's about is similar to Celebrate Recovery, and very similar to AA, NA, these different programs that you find out in the world that not necessarily considered faith-based 12-step programs. Celebrate Recovery is. Freedom from Struggle is about a 12-step faith-based program. And I just want to share today with our audience, look, our friends, man, we love that you're out there. We pray that you keep coming back. Share the program with other people. Let them know that you heard something good. We all have some type of hurt, habit, or hang-up. There's no doubt about it. Some of us have struggled with alcohol. There's others that have struggled with drugs. There's some that have I want to say, sexual trauma. What's some others, Eva? We were talking about it a little earlier.
So you've got military sexual trauma,
right.
Obviously post-traumatic stress, being a victim of hoarding circumstances from parents.
Overeating, overindulgence.
Shopping. Holidays are horrible for people that might have some shopaholic addictions.
Oh, and so also when some of my things, not, to add on to PTSD, you would mention that, but anxiety and depression,
right?
And it's even people with codependency. There's so many different areas that people experience. I like to say we're all sinners. Hey, Celebrate Recovery, this 12-step programs, they're for anybody. They're for any person. If you're eating, living, breathing, able to walk around or have a mind that can think just a little bit, a 12-step program can be for you also. Eva, I just want to share a little bit today what my program, what I desire for my podcast to be like.
Okay.
And also it's kind of a guideline which we use for the Celebrate Recovery meetings that we hold. And these Celebrate Recovery meetings that I mentioned, look, there's an app online that you can, on your iPhones, your other type of phones, you can just download the app. It's CR, Celebrate Recovery. And it gives you so much of that information right there on the app. Alcoholics Anonymous also has it. But the cool thing.
So I'm going to ask a question though, is that for the person who has the addiction or the family members, or who should download that?
Okay, it could be for anybody to download it, because just like I was saying, anybody with any type of hurt, habit, or hang up.
Okay.
It's going to help you, regardless if you have the problem or someone else have the problem. But here's a big reminder. We are each, Eva, responsible for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? I can lead you
that's
a horse
the whole
water,
premise of
but you can't make them drink,
Right.
And it's for us to realize that we do have a problem, but our problem could be because of somebody else's problem, but it leads us into despair and what can we do to help them more ourselves?
Right.
and to know what they're facing. Because I mean, granted, we don't all
And not
experience the
enabling
exact
them
same.
too,
We
right?
don't experience the exact same things.
Right.
Some things can be completely, oh my gosh, I've never seen something like this before. This has never happened to me. I've never experienced this. What are they feeling? And the struggles, hey, freedom from struggle, those struggles are real. Okay, look, real quick, let me just share this real quick. And this is just kind of like a guideline that I was mentioning that we share, and that's not the right page. Okay, so we're going to have to start with the 12 steps.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start with the 12 steps because that's what I have on the screen to share. And big thing about this, when we have our meetings on Thursday nights, what we do, we go into a meeting and we'll sing a couple worship songs, listen to some music together, welcome everybody to the event for that evening, and just let everybody know that, hey, we're here together. We are a faith-based 12-step program, but it's for anybody with any type of hurt, habit, or hang-up, like I've said before. But also, Eva, it's a safe place. It's a safe place. You can find brotherhood, sisterhood. You can find community. You can find that shoulder that you can lean on, a person you can confide in, and always find somebody that's willing to listen, so we know that we're not in this fight alone. Somebody else has experienced these same things. Now, whether they're in our midst or not, you can still relate one thing to another in so many so many times. You can do that. Look, with Celebrate Recovery, I got posted on the screen. If you're fortunate enough to be able to see the screen, is the 12 steps and the biblical comparisons of the first 3 steps. Primarily is what I always really, really, really like to share, because this is what it's about. And the first one, Eva, is that we admitted we were powerless over our addictions and our compulsive behaviors, that our lives had become unmanageable. Romans 7:18 says, I know that nothing good lives in me, that is, in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. I have the desire not to drink, but I find that myself, I can't stop drinking. I cannot not do it. Well, guess what? You got step 2 also. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. We don't have to do this alone.
Right.
For it is God who works in you and me to will and to act according to his good purpose. That's found in the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verses 13. And then finally, the third step, and this is huge, because if we make a decision to turn our lives and our wills over to the care of God, he's going to see us through. And I tell you what, that's a powerful help to have with you. And the Bible verse that goes with that is Romans 12:20. It says, therefore I urge you, brother, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. And those 3 steps right there can make the entire difference in someone's life. They truly can. And so with that right there, I'm gonna have to minimize my screen. Get a little background noise. I'm not sure exactly where that might be from. Anyway, I also want to mention we got several people, some of our other hosts that we have on different shows, and people out there in podcast land. But I do see H Train out there, Jose. Man, we're glad you guys are with us. And Tracer Rounds, I saw them out there for a second, might still be there. Look, welcome to each of y'all. Merry Christmas. And anyone else out there listen, really, really, really want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I am going to try to switch screens real quick and be able to pull up what I was talking about, the those small group guidelines that I was mentioning. And I really want to see if I can pull that up right now and share that with everyone. Just bear with me just a moment, because I have to get my little fingers working right here and working right at the right time so I can make this happen. Okay, hopefully you can see on the screen if you're able to view right now. We got some guidelines, and I just want to I want to share some of these things with you. And one of the things, big thing about a faith-based program or a 12-step program, it's about each one of us. We're in control of ourselves. Okay. And so when we share, even when we're able to come out in a smaller group setting, you keep your sharing focus on your own thoughts and feelings using the I's and the me type statements. It's not about they or them. That's not the problem. It's important for us to share our own thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, not somebody else's hurts, habits, or hang-ups, but our own. We share with the group how we are feeling. It might be as an icebreaker. Hey, how are we feeling today? You feeling grateful? Feeling sad, depressed? Are you anxious? Are you just super happy, that Christmas is right around the corner? But we're feeling the impact of the hurt done to us. It helps us heal, and it grows through that hurt. It makes it not just in our minds, but it makes it where we're sitting there and we're really telling somebody else that I have a problem. And when you say I have a problem, I'm experiencing this, it really kind of charges you to really take care of it, of the problem and do something with it. Okay. And take care of it. We also do time limits a lot of times on the amount somebody shares, because it's not normally these programs. It's not just about one person. There's more than one people, just like right now, Eva, it's me and you present. If I speak the whole time, look, do you want to really hear about, well, I'm suffering from this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, Eva, and I don't know. You don't want to just listen like, oh my goodness, he's going to go on and on and on. Not that that's a bad thing. People need to get it out, but we got to realize it's just not, while it is about ourselves, we're responsible for ourselves. We have to use the I's and the me's. We also have other people that are also experiencing hurts, habits, and hangups, and we have to give everybody a chance to say something. Okay, there's also in these things, there's no crosstalk. Crosstalk, and that's just when two individuals are engaging the conversation. Like if I'm sitting here talking, you give me the opportunity to talk, right, Eva? And we know that just as hosts on the program, we're each having our little say, but each person's free to express his or her feelings without getting interrupted. So leading on to that, speaking of the crosstalk, because a lot of times, what would that crosstalk be? Well, hey, I've been having really problems about thinking this way or thinking that way. And then you pop in, Eva, you pop in there. Well, I tell you what, you really da-da-da. You need to do this. You need to read this book. You need to do this. I can tell you how to do all this. No. We're here to support one another, not fix one another. This keeps us focused, for one thing, on our own issues. Okay. We're not giving advice, except that, hey, you need to work these steps and follow these steps. And believe me, I know it'll help because it's helped me. I've seen it help hundreds of others. Celebrate Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous. They've seen it help hundreds of thousands of people. It's not a joke. It's for real. But so like I said, we don't give advice to solve somebody's problems in our time of sharing or offer book referrals or counselor referrals. For one big thing is, I'm not a physician. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist, a counselor, or necessarily a therapist, nor any other group members. And if they are, this is not their position to practice their profession. This right here is an individual type thing. They can, if you want to get outside counseling and you want to get that entered into your program of recovery, shit, you're welcome to do it. And oftentimes it's really, really needed. But for tons of people, just realizing those first 3 steps and coming to know that you don't have to do this alone takes care of a big part of the problem. Eva, I'd mentioned before, and I'm going to go back to the guidelines here in just a moment. I knew 30 years ago when I quit drinking, I knew I had a problem. And I knew I had a problem before that final night that I quit drinking. And I dabbled with stopping. I would stop and say, okay, well, let me do it a little more, or kind of forget what happened that time or how bad the hangover felt. Or numerous other things. The occasion presented itself to have another drink. But I like to tell people, and this being on that last drink that I had 30 years ago, and that last drink wasn't the first drink I'd had that evening, mind you. Okay. I'd had quite a few. It might have ended different if I'd only had one. Probably wouldn't have been in the same situations. But I was like, man, it's time to stop. Okay. And I had my last drink, my last first drink. It was the last time I drank. Okay. You can have your last drink right now. You could have your last, take your last drug, whether it be orally or inhaling it, smoking it, or shooting up, or whatever that so many people experience. Let that be your last one, because if you do it again, you might not get another chance. I decided for my first drink, my last drink, to be my last drink. I know that if I take another drink, I don't know what my last drink is going to end in. It could end in hurting myself, hurting someone else, hurting someone else's feelings, or then again, I might, and it goes right there and hurting itself, because it could just destroy the insides of my body.
It's a self-sabotage, right?
Yeah, my big motivation, an age training asked, what was your motivation, a tipping point to motivate you to stop? And I think it was, for me, it was, all it took was having a couple other people, come into my life, realizing that, hey, you got a problem. We're here to take care of it. And look, and when I'm talking about the people to take care of it, at this point was a commander, it was a first sergeant, it was a Portuguese police, it was American police. I'm like, whoa, hands up, I give up, I stop. But I wasn't doing that to them. I was doing that to my Father in heaven. I'm done. Okay. Thank you for letting me survive this to this point. I'm done, because my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife, the father that I was being for my children, okay, the airman that I was being for my country, in service to my country as an air traffic controller, it wasn't jiving. It was not working out. It was not going to continue to work out. And that's that tipping point that motivated me to truly stop. It wasn't like we had talked about earlier, even New Year's resolutions and things like that, right? What did you say about the resolutions?
Oh, I don't keep resolutions. I don't make resolutions anymore. Right. I adopt a word for the year. And, I remember some years ago, I started it as just, I just want to maintain and, be stable. And then the next year I, gave myself some baby steps. And, I think I actually called the next one baby steps or opportunities, and just trying to, step by step improve, so that I didn't have, I wasn't stuck in some of those other issues. I don't think have been an alcoholic. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't ever binge drink or, social drink, but I've lived around people who are alcoholics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I like that.
Or were and are no longer around with us anymore.
Right. And I had a lot of those in my family also. But I also want to throw a shout out to my buddy, brother in Christ, Joe. He's out there, Mississippi Pie Thunder. I mentioned my hometown being Biloxi earlier. Biloxi's not my hometown, but I've been here for 25 years. So it's pretty much home. But my hometown's up in Meridian, Mississippi, where Mississippi Pie Thunder's from. And I see he's on there. Just give a shout out. Hey, Joe.
Well, I want to do a quick shout out to my buddy, Nikki.
Okay.
So Nikki and I were in Desert Storm together.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So let me read it out loud what she says. Hey, Eva, sometimes it just takes the right words. I was fortunate to have a wonderful counselor at Behavioral Health let me know it's not about what's wrong with you. It's about what happened to you. And those words gave me power. She says, I believe she was a gift from God.
Nikki, I think Nikki's kind of got it spot on right there, don't she? That's pretty good. That's a great a great response there or comment. Look, I was talking about those group guidelines. And then secondly, obviously, I don't practice this too much, Eva. Anonymity and confidentiality are basic requirements. Now, saying I don't practice that, I don't require the anonymity or confidentiality of myself. I'm more than happy to share it with other people, thinking that it plants a seed with just one person, male or female, doesn't matter. If one person changes their ways, stops drinking, starts using drugs, stops cussing, stops eating too much, stops having anxiety, helps with depression, man, it's more than I'm more than welcome to throw my name out there. But I guarantee you one thing, just like it says, confidentiality and anonymity are basic requirements. I will make sure I never share that other person that's in the that I know of, that's in confidence, for no doubt. What's shared in the group stays in the group. The only exception is when someone is threatening to injure themselves or others. Then we have a moral obligation that we have to report that to authorities or the correct medical place. And to take, somebody's really needing a lot of help at that point. And Eva, I know you would be the same way. We'd be right there ready to help.
As you read that, I was thinking, that's the one time where the mask that you wear with your friends and family and work or whatever, that the mask has to come off in the recovery group itself. Is that a fair assessment about the mask and not wearing the mask in your group?
Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. To be able to come into a group, I was speaking to someone earlier, they didn't really care too much about the groups, didn't think they were that important. And you got some people that would come into a group and they'll never say a single word. They might tell you their name, but they don't discuss what their problems are, what they're facing every day. And but by you sharing, by me sharing, by the person to my right or by my left sharing, it opens up something, at least plants that seed with them towards recovery, something that they might see where they can take that mask off if they've been wearing it and afraid to discuss it with anybody. And then you also, people, simply have the stigma about going around any of these groups, period. But then also finally that, and this, we're not sharing information, just kind of like, I guess, like a attorney-client privilege. We don't share information with the spouses, family, co-workers, defendants, and prosecution. So we don't discuss what is shared in the group among group members. Listen, if you weren't there Thursday night, Eva, you weren't there. Hey, you say, hey, was Carolyn, blah, 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 or was Marilyn there? And I don't know, should have been there. I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's
about the accountability, right? Because maybe you don't have accountability anywhere in your family and friends, your circle, but is that part of the coming out that, if you are only doing it in the group and that's your only accountable, I would think that would still be kind of tough to think that you're only going to get through this recovery by only engaging in that recovery group when you have a whole group of family and friends that care about you too.
And that's a lot of times, I think sometimes we're just, I think these people in recovery, so many of them are celebrating some type of recovery from experience. So that's a good person to listen to, right? That's they got some credibility amongst them just because they've been successful. It's kind of like, hey, don't keep secrets. How did you do this? How did you do this? Where somebody in the family, whether it's a child, whether it's a parent, it's hard for us to help each other. For one thing, you got the, we're disciplinary, this and that and the other. Here, like when you go to these meetings, no, you're not. You're held accountable by the people to your left and the right, if you ask for it, right? I mean, I'm not going to say, hey, Eva, you missed Thursday night. What's the problem? I'm not going to bother you that. And I'm not taking roll. Hey, I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. It works if you work it. If you're here, it helps every single time. And that's a huge thing right there in itself. And no, I can't sit there. There's just things I can't. And I say there's things I can't talk about. I can talk about anything, but just like with my sons, if I talk about something, it's not going. It'll end up in an argument more than anything else, regardless of what it is. Because don't try to blame me or that's your fault. And it doesn't work out.
That's I think a natural recourse to try to place blame so that you don't have to own your own actions.
This is a neutral playing field where you can. Right. These type things. Eva, we need to sit here and hear a word from our sponsors or something.
Yep.
Now I know we got LTD Tactical Defense. We played their commercial just a minute ago. What I want to do right now, I want to play just a little song that we have on our in our studios. And a lot of times these songs are by vets and they're by vets for vets. But I really want to share this soldier's prayer. Okay. I hope everybody just give us a couple minutes, listen to the song, let us freshen up and get ready for the next segment of the show. We'll see you in just a minute. We're going to continue to talk about the principles toward recovery and the way it can affect you and me.
60 years went rolling by. It was here we said goodbye. The war was brewing, it was extreme. We were only teens. I knew the day I died, all alone, my brand new bride. Our favorite song would be a sign I'd be back in time. So raise a flag with pride and grace. I seen the pain on a soldier's face. Bring me home, both sides say I'm a soldier of the USA. You weren't alone all these years. I seen you cry, I know your tears. You raised our child and a family, all without me. You've done well with your life, lots of friends by your side. I heard a nightly secret prayer, I was always there. So raise a flag with pride and grace. I seen the pain on a soldier's face. Bring me home, both sides say I'm a soldier of the USA. Now it's time, my lovely wife, to bring you home. Say goodnight. Close your eyes to our favorite song. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? One day we'll come back in time for those we leave behind. But for now, we'll watch them grow. Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Hey, and we're back, Eva. Man, what a wonderful song. If you really listen to those words, excuse me, you listen to those words, man, they're so meaningful. It's really amazing. Music, I love music, and it's just can be so soothing. And there's so many, there's songs I don't listen to the words, and that's probably a good thing because I do like a lot of different types of music, but man, some of them you got to sit back and you got to really listen to it and just hear the meaning of it.
Yeah.
And I love it how some of these songs, when some songs have bad stuff like that, and I don't even recognize it. I don't notice it. I guess I'm in a way blocking it out because it's jabberish, okay, or gibberish. But yet when I have a song like that, I can hear the music and the words.
Right. It's not just the beat. I have,
right.
I'll get in the car.
I was sitting there in the background. I was beating my drums, and I was like, man, I wish I could play music instead of just listen. But that's cool, Hey, that's my gift. I can listen, and that's a gift to you that you don't have to hear me trying to play. Okay,
or me try to sing. Yeah.
Hey, I was just wanting to remind everybody also, if you're able to see the screen, we added some numbers down there on the bottom in a ticker. And what that is, the SAMHSA, that's Substance Abuse Mental Health Service Administration. It's a national helpline. It's 1-800-662-HELP. And help is 435. So that's 1-800-662-HELP. If you ever need any kind of help for yourself or even somebody else, you can call that number. For veterans, for us veterans, we have it pretty simple. They always make it simple for us veterans. We can call the Veterans Crisis Line. All we got to do is dial 988, okay? Or we can press 1. Dial 988 and then press 1. Or we can simply text 838-255. These are some good numbers to have in your wallet, have on you, have in your possession, just in case and not just for yourselves. If you encounter somebody else that is struggling, these are numbers that they can call. Also, for the VA, you have for veterans, you call 1-800-273-8255. And medical emergencies, of course, everyone always remember 911. You can always call that for a medical emergency, and they'll direct you to the right folks, the right resources that can truly help you. Okay. Please remember that, everybody. That can make a difference in your life or someone else's. And there's no sense in us having to fight it all the way alone. Okay. Regardless. H, I saw your comment out there, and yeah, I had to stop drinking. There ain't no telling what was going to happen if I kept drinking. Said you stop taking some kind of medication there, and for as a fix. And man, that's what we got to do. There's no doubt about that. What is this MBR fundraiser money dedicated to hurricane? No, that was something else. I'm quite sorry there. That was just something else that popped up on my street. It didn't have to do with what we're doing today.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it popped up on my own screen for something.
Oh no!
I was like, "What is that?" Anyway, and hey, but I was just like, "I'm your news reporter, and I'm reporting now," But hey, also with the show, like I was kind of joking around with somebody else the other day. It's Freedom from Struggle show. It's the way we talk about ways to that can help in your hurts, habits, or hangups. Regardless, like I said, it's alcoholism, drugs, codependency, whatever the problem may be. We're simply here to help. I mean, we don't have all the answers. Okay. Don't have prescriptions, not going to be able to heal you, but we do care, and we do know steps that you can take, that you have to take. We can't take the steps for you, but you can. There is steps to recovery. There is hope at the end. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's hope. Okay. And just want to make sure everybody knows that. I mentioned those. I talked about a few of the steps, Eva. I also mentioned some of those guidelines we go about inside our meetings, the guidelines that I kind of like to have going on here on the show. And I didn't mention one of the next one was the use of profanity. It's no sense in it. We don't have to do it. I mean, I know a lot of people do. I've said some words myself in the past, and I really strive hard not to. Doesn't matter if I'm in a private setting or a public setting. I desire not to do that. And guess what? I 12-step it.
Wow. I remember, this is going to be like a weird reference to not cussing, or I say not screaming either. Raising your voice, but I was giving birth to my first child, and you know how there's always in the movies the woman giving birth is screaming, and the doctor, like, he says, Miss Eva, Why are you screaming like that? Because that's just totally not necessary. You're wasting energy when you should be pushing.
You should be pushing.
Breathing, but when you say that, that kind of makes sense that, that only helps aggravate the situation and kind of intensifies the, situation where the devil is being able to steal, kill, and destroy your happiness and
Oh my
joy.
gosh.
And he's happy to suck you into, I want to, being drunk or being in your addiction instead of going on a hike or going scuba diving or going, just
on a hunting trip like myself.
Huh?
Or like me going on a hunting trip.
Or a hunting trip, right.
Yay.
I mean, finding that, peaceful place where you can let those stressors go.
I tell you what, Eva, when you get outside, now I talked to you about it before, just the outdoors for me, man, just the outdoors. And hey,
It's grounding.
I might not sound like the simplest guy, but I'm a simple guy, man. And, I've got my beliefs. I'm a Christian, and just being out and seeing God's creation, and that's also some of those coping mechanisms that, the senses, what you can hear, see, smell, things, feel. Those are so many things where you can get to thinking about, and it just puts everything else off to the, everything else doesn't matter. You've got that, we've got our senses, and you just realize them, and you're sitting there really using them. Okay. And I just love that. Now we're here on the recovery, the 8 principles. I talked about the steps, talked about some guidelines, and just these first 3 up here, these each go to the steps in an order. Okay. And first off, the first one has to do with step 1. Realize I'm not God. I'm not in control. I admit that I am powerless. I'm powerless myself to control my tendency to do the wrong things, and that my life is unmanageable.
Do you know do you know what word that whole phrase is about?
What's that?
Submission.
Submission.
That you got to submit to God.
Right.
If you're not submitting to God, that of anything in your life, and it's not just about, it's not just about alcohol. It's about anything in your life. Maybe it's finances too. It's submitting to Him. A lot of people have a problem with submitting.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I do not have a problem. I've just got to, I guess my biggest problem is remembering to not trying to take care of all this myself. Matthew 5:3 says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And I'll add, these 8 principles are all based on the Beatitudes that you find in Matthew. The second principle that we abide by is to earnestly believe that God exists, that I matter to Him, and that He has the power to help me recover. And that's from Matthew 5:4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. They will be comforted.
We have somebody over in the chat that asked about, hey, can you talk about doors and wheels? Is that something to discuss, or I don't know what that means.
I really don't know.
Oh, okay.
I could come up with something, but it would just be something that
maybe it's doors opening and not getting in the car.
It'd just be something that Red would be doing, like,
I'm just thinking maybe it's not getting in the car with, drinking and driving too.
Right.
I mean, this is just the season for the holidays. Obviously, I'm dressed up going somewhere.
Yes, you are. Tonight, you look pretty today. You look pretty today. They also said, I love Canada. And hey, great. That's wonderful. I love America. I love Canada. God bless Canada. God bless Texas. But, in all seriousness, right? But let me read this third principle real quick, and then we can just get over to talking. But the step 3, consciously choose to commit all of my life and my will to Christ's care and control. And like you said, this whole just submitting and doing it, knowing to do it. Matthew 5:5 said, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And I tell you, Eva, for me, the Bible just has so many good things to me. I mean, yes, I'm a Christian. No kidding. It ought to mean a lot to me, but it does. And it's my whole life has just been so natural. I can't believe I became that 5-card poker on Saturday night church on Sunday morning guy, or the filthy mouth guy trying to talk about the Lord. It's that was a terrible witness. I pray I can do better in the future. And I'm working on it, right? I'm working on it. I'm trying to share with others right here. And it's not the easiest thing in the world. We got to mind our P's and Q's, right? But we're responsible. You're responsible for Eva. Red is responsible for Red.
I have to own my backyard just like you
Red.
do.
That's right. I like that about the backyard. But as long as we do that, man, things can be so much simpler. And remember how I was talking about earlier, it's so simple. It's really simple, but we make it so hard. And it's a work. We're all a work in progress, right? I don't care if you're what you said, one of your parents is in the 80s. My dad's 85, Hey, he's it was work in progress, right? And that's a wonderful thing, right? And we don't give up. We keep on striving to do better. And I tell you what, the best way that I can do better is by helping others. And I know that. And I know that it's not all about me. I mean, it's, sure, I look after me. I'm responsible for me, but it's not all about me. It's about others. It's all our brothers and sisters. And that doesn't matter which race, which gender, man, regardless, we're in this love together. And that's just a big thing. We got to help each other. We got to, all that camaraderie as veterans. And like this show right here, it's on Military Broadcast Radio, and giving veterans a voice, but also hopefully giving veterans a time to hear. But not only veterans, everyone, anybody that can catch us on the waves, on the airwaves,
because I'm thinking
in, man, that can just pick up the vibe, So
I think there's a lot of spouses or family members who may know somebody in their family that's going through something, and how do they help give them some resources? I mean, I think that's why we shared these resources to the audience, so that they can give it to somebody else who may need to hear it too.
Exactly. And that's the whole purpose behind it. And I say that, and that's just the gist of it. We're supposed to do unto others, you have them do unto yourself. So that's just a loving thing. I was looking back at the comments, seeing if there was any comments. Somebody else's. Jose's out there. Hey, Jose, Merry Christmas. I saw Jose make a comment a little bit earlier.
Oh yeah, motivated mindset. That's
I'm looking something up real quick just to see if I have no idea. No, somebody put in there. I guess it got funny guys. Hey, look, there's something for everybody, right? You can be funny guys. Are you Haley Welch's father? Myself, no, I'm not Haley Welch's father. I might be breathing some of the same air she breathes and stuff like that. But and I'm pretty good at but anyway, hey, I'm old redneck, right? From inside.
I don't even know who that is.
That would be the Hot Tua girl, I guess. If it's the same Haley Welch that I believe he's referring
she's missing
to
right now.
Huh?
She's missing right now.
Oh, I did not know that. That's so sad.
So apparently,
well,
there was
I know that some of that, that 1 minute wonder stuff, or all of a sudden getting all this recognition for something, whether it's good or bad or nasty or what indecent, decent, whatever. Some of those things that quick jump to fame, it can really hurt, and things backfire on you. I pray that she's okay for her sake, for her parents' sake, for her friends' sakes. And if she's out there, hey, hope you get better. We 12-step this thing now. There's ways to take care of everything, and I do sincerely pray that she's okay.
Oh, I do too. Yeah,
I hate
I
hate
saw
to
on
hear
X,
that. I hate to
there's
hear that.
something about a meme coin and, just some bad deal,
Right,
bad deals going there. So
right,
hopefully
right,
she's
right.
fine. Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well, hey, once again, we got these numbers down at the bottom of the screen. I just asked, it's also in the comments, folks. It's in the comments, so you should be able to screenshot those numbers. I really urge you and suggest and beg of you, to make those things, put that in your little library, put that on your shelf that you can be able to share with somebody if they're in a time of need. And I mean, it might just be somebody you run across when you're, in a parking lot, who knows where, right? We all know 911, but there's other direct numbers that we can use. And I suggest people use them, take advantage of knowing them. And I'm glad you actually mentioned to me about someone else that had posted these numbers. And I recall posting them way back in the day when we first started the way back in the day, earlier in the year when we started the podcast, but we did post some of those numbers and we're suggesting them, and I meant to be doing that on a regular basis. I believe
I will make sure
Coach is
I share it today too.
It's one of our fellow hosts that's doing that. Hopefully we can even get it on our website. And
Coach had shared it to all of us, and I will make sure that I share it out.
Yeah, and it was pretty neat the way it looked, I think.
Oh,
too,
yeah, very simple.
So, and I'll probably try to put that on my Facebook page, that Reds Roundtable Facebook page. Look, folks, we appreciate you being out there. Always feel free to make a comment. We're really looking, I guess we'd say we're looking more for the serious comments, but a little humor here and there is always good, right?
I have a quick question for you,
Go ahead.
Before we sign off, because, this is the party season of things.
Right.
I think that's really where we need to be mindful of how do we navigate some of those temptations. So it's not about not going to the events, because sometimes staying at home can be just as stressful as going to an event. So how, I know you were on the cruise, you did the 30-year celebration of things. What's a good way for somebody to be able, even I don't care if it's 30 years or the first day.
First day, right. Or the day before the first day.
Right. How can they learn how to start resetting that? And maybe I went on a cruise ship.
There's things that are happening around you. Just like I mentioned, that CR app and the AA app. I believe there's an AA app also. You can download these apps and you can look in there via your zip code and you'll find the closest meeting to you that you can go to. Okay. No, you don't need to avoid different parties. It might be wise to stay in on amateur night, New Year's Eve. I don't know. I always do these days, but I did back when I drank too. I didn't have to go out to have a good time, but no, look, I can go anywhere and it doesn't bother me. Of course, you don't want to go in an area if something's being done illegal, because just by where you're at could get you into trouble, whether you're using or drinking or not. It could get you in a lot of trouble just being there. But on the cruise I went on, you mentioned that. Look, I'm on a cruise where there's tons of people drinking a lot. And I was fortunate they offer a little time for Friends of Bill, Friends of Rick, and that's for AA and NA. And we actually I had like 7 or 8 people on board.
I didn't know that's what that was. I've seen them on the itinerary on cruises before. I didn't know what that was for.
People that are part of AA. I guess maybe I shouldn't even say anything about that's anonymity. But no, that's what it is. Friends of Bill,
they don't want to feel alone. And if they're surrounded by it, but they still need to get out there and learn how to have fun. Maybe part of it is just knowing that you have a resource there and the temptation.
I had fun. Listen, I will tell you, the 2 days or 3 days after I'll quit drinking, the next day I didn't go anywhere. I don't think I stayed in, was kind of soaking up my sorrows and everything else, trying to figure out how I was going to do all this stuff. But I would still go to the club, at the NCO club there at the base that I was stationed at. And, that's where folks I was used to being around were, but I just went in there and drank a water or a Coke instead of having a beer or a double Jack and water or whatever, you know? And it wasn't a problem. Of course, I'd made my decision. Now you could say that's flirting with the disaster, and it might be right off the bat. You know what I mean? But there's nothing to say. You got to be true to yourself. Okay. You're true to yourself and go to parties, be the designated driver. I will say some of the parties, some of the places I've been, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe these people. Some of these people are putting themselves through what they're putting themselves through by, you know, just overindulging in whatever. Of course, I'm bad about doing it in food. Now, if I eat too much, it's hard. I need a driver. I need a designated driver if I eat too much because I'm just not comfortable.
I know even if I have a drink or two, and I can't do really any more than that. That
I say, don't get behind the wheel.
No. Even here at home,
yeah,
I still feel like crap the next day, and It's like I don't.
I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it.
Doesn't do that anymore.
I can't imagine it. I cannot imagine how it would make me feel. I don't guess I'd be able to operate it all, but I do encourage people to enjoy time still with your family, with friends and stuff like that. Don't completely avoid it. I wouldn't say just
that's like going on. That's like now, fasting and then rebounding from the fasting.
Now I will say a lot of times though, that being said, for me, it wasn't a problem. For me, I mean, for, you know, being in the recovery program, I can see, and especially during the lessons of these different programs, sometimes you do have to change your network. You know, you can't hang around the same friends that all you had in common was the drinking or the drugs. It might be best to just stay away from that, to find a new group, which the programs but you were talking about actual parties or, you know, Christmas parties, this and that and the other, office party after work. Look, if you feel like going, you go to it. You know what I mean? And if you can't because of the temptation, well, by golly, stay away from it. Right? I mean,
politely decline.
And they if they
go
really
to a movie
know,
or something,
if they really know you, they might understand exactly why, you know. And now even they got now even down here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, they got groups that have kind of formed up where they're having like dances and all these different types of things. I'm talking about live. I'm talking about happening, but there's no alcohol. There's no this. There's no that. It's just a good, clean environment, you know. But everybody's having fun. I've got a natural high. I don't have to go get high. I don't have to get drunk. I'm natural, you know, and that's just, but I think that's because I believe I was before, but even more so now, because I know that I don't need that other stuff to have a good time.
Well, I know we only have 3 minutes left.
I hate that.
What's a good focus for us to cover next Saturday? Or are we having a call before then?
Well, we're definitely going to be back next Saturday. Okay. That's the plan. I mean, we really need to. I think during this time of the year, it's important. It'd be nice if we could pop on with a little Christmas special, whether we're just saying, you know, hey to everybody, just checking in or getting people to check in with you. I see somebody, I don't know the names, but
I don't know.
Some giant says hello.
Wither Giant, hi. Maybe I have a new fan. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Well, look, I just say we if we can get back on, we need to. Of course, Military Broadcast Radio, folks, has got plenty of programs going on. Yeah. Check us out on the web. Check us out on Facebook, Military Broadcast Radio, MBR Talk, MBR Radio. We're out there. We're out and about. We have a lot of veterans that have podcasts. Some are on vacation right now, taking radio days just for the holidays, for the time of the year. But there's many others that are still hosting their shows.
The Smile Show is still going to be on Wednesday. You know, I co-host on that too. So
which one? Smiles?
Yeah, that's on Wednesday morning.
That's early in the morning.
Yeah.
I have to catch the rerun on that. You know what I mean?
I know.
I'm
I
not
get
usually
up.
up.
Early.
I'm
You
not
know,
usually up at
Central
that time of day.
so I'm getting up at 4:25 to be on air at 5 a.m. But it's so worth it. If y'all haven't listened to the Smile Show, you know, you can't help but smile. We just have a blast on that show.
Right.
And it is faith-based too.
Our station manager, one of our station managers, Terry Lynch, Tracer Rounds is going live tomorrow, Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's just like 26 hours from now, 25 hours from now.
Yeah.
Y'all tune in for Tracer Rounds. They always have a good show.
Yep.
And we'll be watching there with us. Have a good night, Terry. Good day to you. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas again, though, if we don't see you. But feel free to comment on the show. If you're watching this at a later time, by all means, comment. We'll try to respond back to you. Remember those numbers that we put in the comment section. You know where to find them if you need them. And share them with your friends and family, anybody you think it might help. And just pray for each other and help support each other. Here's another big thing, Eva, to go out on a thought. You never know what someone else is experiencing. Right?
Yep, that's true.
You never know. You never know what someone else is experiencing. And I do want to share one other thing as we close out, Eva. And we'll go ahead and say goodbye to everyone now. We'll end the stream right after this this prayer and our little commercial there at the end of the show. But look, just if everybody, as long as you're not driving or doing something and it doesn't impede your safety, go ahead and bow your heads and just let us hear this prayer. God, grant me this serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time and enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking as Jesus did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. Okay, we're going to have our little out show. Eva, tell everybody goodbye. See you next week.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. And I really pray that you have a beautiful, blessed day and be safe.
Amen. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.